Alrighty folks, today we got this bad boy in the house and we are talking about the Viltrox 56mm F1.2 Pro for the Fujifilm X mount. And I've been using this lens for a couple of days now and I just want to share with you guys my thoughts on this lens. Right off the box, my first impression of this lens was like, whoa, this is a great looking lens. And it's not as big as, the Fujifilm XF 56mm F1.2, the WR version. That Fuji lens is quite chunky, and the Viltrox just seems like it's a tad smaller in size and in girth. Now with this lens, you get an aperture dial, and it does have a nice resistance to it, and it also has a manual focusing ring, and you also got the Viltrox Pro badge on the side of the lens. The only other Pro lenses that you get from Viltrox, especially in the APS-C version, is the Viltrox 27mm F1.2 Pro, and then the Viltrox 75mm F1.2 Pro. And now we got the 56mm F1.2 Pro. They're pulling out all the stops for you guys. Now, this lens has a 67mm filter thread, and the minimum focusing distance is 50 centimeters, which is really good, by the way. Because I remember the one thing I really love about the new 56mm f1.2 over the old XF 56mm f1.2 is the fact that the close minimum focusing distance did improve from 70 centimeters to 50 centimeters. So you can get some pretty cool up close shots with it. And this Viltrox can do the same, matching it at 50 centimeters. It's all metal construction, magnesium alloy. It has the same design as the other Pro lenses out there. So if you are familiar with, the 75 and the 27mm f1.2 Pro, this thing will feel the same and it will look the same. And at the back of the lens, you also have a rubber gasket seal for weather sealing, and as well the USB-C port for firmware upgrades. Overall, I think this is a solid built lens. It's a premium feeling lens and you'll be happy with it. When I hold on it, it doesn't feel as heavy as the 27 or the 75, but it does feel nice to hold in the hand just because it's just made of quality. It does feel premium. I really enjoy holding this in my hands. Now, when it comes to the autofocusing, Viltrox is saying that this lens has the new VCM motors, which makes this lens focus faster than the previous Pro lenses, the 27 and the 75. The older f1.2 lenses from Viltrox uses the STM autofocusing motors, and if you guys know anything about STM, it's a little bit slower, and we are heading into 2025, and I think that everything should be a lot faster. All the lenses now should have some sort of like faster, updated autofocusing motors than just STM. I would prefer everything to be linear motors. So from my testing, I did find this to be true when it comes to the Viltrox 56mm autofocusing. It's quick and snappy. It's definitely a lot faster than the Fujifilm XF 56mm f1.2. But it does this thing where when you single point autofocus, it pulsates a little bit before it latches on to the subject. And I'm thinking this could be like a software issue, so hopefully Viltrox can come out with a firmware update to fix this, because right now, although I think it's quicker than the Fujifilm XF 56mm f1.2 WR lens, there's this little pulsating thing that's happening that makes it quite jarring to look at. When I used to own the 56mm f1.2 WR, there was one gripe that I did have with that lens, and it's because it didn't use linear motors when it seems like it was heading in that directions with several lenses that were released before that. They did that with the XF 23mm f1.4. They did it with the XF 33mm f1.4, and they also did it with the 18mm f1.4, and so on. So for whatever reason, the XF 56mm f1.2 WR, Fuji chose not to put linear motors inside. They decided to use the slow stepping autofocusing motors, and you can hear it grind and it sounds really clunky when it autofocuses. With this Viltrox VCM motors, I didn't hear any of that clunky grinding noise that you would hear from you know, the 56 Fuji. Now, I have zero issues with the autofocusing when I was using it to shoot portraits with Luana. Although this is for the Fujifilm X mount, I shoot with the Fujifilm XS20, and the autofocusing is decent when it's on single autofocusing. That's the one that I stick with. I don't even try to use continuous because, let's face it, like Fujifilm sucks for tracking. When it comes to the image quality, I was shooting this at like f1.2 for most of my shoots, and it was crazy sharp in the center. Now, I still think that the XF 56mm F1.2 WR version to be just a bit sharper, and then this Viltrox comes in like a close second. But at this point, it's just like a tiny bit sharper. I do like the background blur on this Viltrox lens right here. It does melt the background a lot, and the subject isolation you get on this looks fantastic. The bokeh is nice and smooth, and I just find this focal length like to look very flattering for portrait photography, especially when you take headshots. I've been shooting with this wide open for the most part because the lens is pretty sharp in the center for me, and that to me is what matters the most as a portrait photographer. I didn't feel the need to stop down. The only reason why I would stop down here is because south of Portugal is like way too bright. But again, once you stop it down, the image does sharpen up for you a lot more. Now, when it comes to the color fringing, this is me shooting into branches looking for it, and you can see there are purple and green fringing, especially wide open in contrasty situations. There are also flares when the light hits the lens on certain angles. Sometimes it can wash out the entire image, and sometimes it can give you these rainbow looking flares from these shots that I took with Luana. Let's get to my favorite part. The reason why I like this lens, the reason why this lens works in my opinion, is because of the price. It is coming in at $580. A Pro Series lens for $580 with, you know, a metal construction design, with the aperture dial, with the weather sealing, and with the fast VCM motors for autofocusing. If you're looking at other lenses that are on the market right now, you obviously got, you know, the Fuji native lens, the XF 56mm F1.2 WR, and that is coming in at $1,200 brand new. There's also Sigma's 56mm F1.4 contemporary lens. That is the same price as the Viltrox at $580, but that is only at f1.4, and it doesn't have an aperture ring. I would rather just get an f1.2. And then you look at something like, you know, the XF 50mm F2. Now that's around $500, and it's also an F2. Or you can just, you know, pay $80 more to get, you know, this Viltrox F1.2 lens. You get more shallow depth of field, you get more subject isolation, you get more pop, more bokeh, and the F1.2 also helps a lot more in low light situations as well. And then you also got like the XF 50mm F1.0 or F1. And that thing costs $1,700 right now, and it is bigger as well. So I think the price on the Viltrox is great. It's more than fair, especially in this economy right now. And if I'm being honest with you, I've been testing their lenses out, and with each release, they are just getting better and better. The Lab series lenses are freaking outstanding. I tried the Viltrox 135mm f1.8 Pro Lab series, and that thing is just freaking incredible for the price. I also tested the 75mm f1.2 Pro, and that thing is freaking sharp. It is awesome. The 27mm f1.2 as well, incredible lens. And now you got the 56mm f1.2 Pro, which is also great. And Viltrox also has, you know, their Air series, where that is a bit more affordable, more compact. And at this point, I think the focal lengths that they offer, the ones that I use especially, I don't see why you would get native lenses anymore. Viltrox lenses are that good, people. So Viltrox, we've seen enough prime lenses already. If you guys are watching this, can you please make a zoom lens soon? 16 to 55mm f2.8 would be great for the Fujifilm X mount. And if you guys are interested in picking up this lens, please use the links down in the description below, as it does help support the channel and it allows me to make more content like this for you guys. And if you guys do make a purchase through the Viltrox website, you can use my coupon code TONGUE to get an additional 5% off. And do me a favor while you're down there, hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up on this video, as it pushes this video out to the algorithm out there, and it pushes more people to see this video. And that is it for me, guys. Thanks so much.